Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blades in the Dark, Episode 1 of Doskvol Dandies, our brand new campaign coming to you Monday nights. We're not sure how often we're going to do it as of yet. I'm going to introduce you to all of our players, but first things first, I need to make sure that I have the audio output at the right levels. Okay, we should be good to go here. So I am Dan, your GM, and I will be running this game. I have a minimal experience running this game previously with one other group, but I don't think anybody else has actually played this game in this party. So why doesn't everybody just go around and introduce yourself as a meat space human, and then we will dive into more in the nuts of the bolt of why we're playing Blades in the Dark, what is that, and start getting on with the first session business. So why don't we go from left to right?
Is that top to bottom?
Yeah,
or
that's you.
All right, so I'm Aaron. My meat space persona is a programmer, I guess, and lover of all things gaming, even though I pretty much suck at them.
Aw. We'll think this way.
Greetings, meatbags. I am Emrys. I am a fellow meatbag. I enjoy doing meatbag things like breathing and eating and playing games.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead, Simon.
I'm Simon. I teach history. When I'm not doing that, I like to play games.
I am Bird. I like games as well. I'm a stay-at-home mom and a freelance editor currently. That's it.
Nice. So, and I am your game master, as I said, Dan. I am in the finance industry by trade, but I also have about 20 years of game mastering experience, although most of that will not be on display because we're going to be learning together. We're taking you all along for the ride. So, Blades in the Dark is made by John Harper. I have a link in the notes below directly to the system where you can learn more. It's a fantastic fiction-first system that focuses on getting right to the dice rolls and trying to always focus on what the characters do and complications and consequences therein, and then applying the math after the fact. That's going to become a little bit more readily apparent once we jump into the first session. But in the meantime, our players have all worked on characters, and in this game of Blades in the Dark, everyone is some sort of criminal, cutthroat type person living in a post-apocalyptic world, which we'll detail a little bit more later. But basically, they are all leading members of a criminal organization, a gang, if you will, called the Doskvol Dandies. And Doskvol is our setting, our city in which the game takes place. So, let us take a look, and we're going to move over and take a look at our city real quick. And really, rather than this just being me pontificating, why don't we all chime in? I know not everybody who's playing got a chance to really dive into the history, but does anybody who is in the game have a favorite piece of the lore or anything that they think is particularly interesting that they want to talk about? Yeah. So, Blades in the Dark is set in a setting that is basically after the end of the world. In Blades in the Dark, a small number... Oop, I didn't turn off that one. Somebody must have be hosting me. Blades in the Dark is set after the end of the world. Some sort of magic cataclysm happened that basically opened the gates of death, and 99% of the planet is destroyed and filled with ghosts and demons, and the sun is destroyed. There's no sunlight, right? And Doskvol and a handful of other cities were only saved by an enigmatic figure known as the Immortal Emperor, who put like these magic lightning shields around a handful of cities to protect them from destruction. So the entire game of Doskvol takes place in this electromagnetically protected city, and you can kind of see the electromagnetic shield around in these little stars. Now the neat thing about this is that means that the dead energy is what runs everything, and it's also the greatest threat of danger, and it also means that if the players jack up the campaign, they can't run away because this is the only place you can go. Yeah, when things go wrong. So does anybody else have like a fluff piece that they want to bring up before we dive in? Yeah.
Predators, criminals, scavengers, like, yeah, we're not gonna sort of like, there's no sort of uniting moment of all humanity banding together.
No, we're the left behinds.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the 100% the left behinds. And so what that means is that the people who are left are the people who are scraping out to survive a very meager existence in what's left. One of the things that's the most compelling for me for Blades in the Dark is it lacks the false optimism of a lot of other fantasy settings where it's a medieval setting, but everybody is really interested in truth and justice for some reason. Which, people are people, right? And the more scarce resources are, the more cutthroat things get. So, like, this is going to be a game ultimately about our players doing whatever it takes to try to become winners in Doskvol and retire comfortably in peace, whatever it may take to get you there, notwithstanding. So that's where we are. The first thing that you do in Blades in the Dark is you as a person decide what kind of character you want to be, what kind of person you are. So that's what we're going to do first, is we're going to work on talk about everybody's characters. For the sake of our viewers, we didn't have every single person make the characters on screen. The system calls for you to do all of that in the first session, but we've kind of been collaborating on that in our Discord. So let us take a look at, we're going to start with Aaron. And you're going to be playing Jonas Pennington. So why don't you tell us a little bit about him and what he's all about?
So Jonas Pennington is a little obsessed with the occult. Growing up on a trade ship, he saw his fair share of death and is obsessed with the idea of communing with ghosts and spirits.
Okay, and what is your playbook that you are playing?
So in that vein, the playbook I am playing is a Whisper. They're the arcane channeler people. They're the guys that talk with the ghosts and try to get the ghosts to do their bidding if they're lucky.
Yeah, because ghosts and the ectoplasmic energy is omnipresent.
Yes.
In this world. So you're the person who, instead of fleeing and trying to fight with ghosts necessarily, you're always trying to commune and use them basically as an additional resource, either to help you accomplish tasks or to hear their stories and get their information, which is super cool.
Yes. I definitely see dead people.
Yeah, you do. Well, everybody sees dead
Everybody
people,
sees
but
them,
other people mostly ignore them.
Yes.
Now,
Or run away from them.
Yeah, or
Or-
run away from them generally.
You don't want to give him.
So there is some character nuance here. You said that you were from the Dagger Isles, correct?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about, in your mind, how you came to become a scoundrel and came to join this crew, do you think? How's a Whisper join a crew of shadows?
So in my mind, the things I was getting into as a novice whisperer, I guess, it's kind of scared my crew for the trade ship I was on, and they gave me the boot. So I eventually found my way into oh crud, what's the name of the city again? Doskvol.
Or Doskvol.
Doskvol.
Yeah.
So they basically kicked me off the boat, and I've kind of been here ever since.
Yeah, I hear that they're pretty superstitious, those sailors.
Yes, very. In terms of how I ended up in the Dandies, my gut is I probably got picked up by one of them because of my talents and just kind of worked my way up through the organization as a whisperer and able to do some of this arcane stuff that they needed.
Okay. Yeah, and we're going to dive in a little bit more deeply into your playbook as it comes up.
Yep.
It's also in all the character sheets. There's imager links in the notes below so that anyone watching, you can see the updated versions of anyone's character sheets as we are playing. But you have a ritual that you have to pick at game start that it says specifically. Talk to me a little bit about what you had in mind there.
All right, so what I have in mind is something I feel my character would have kind of gravitated towards after he got kicked off the boat, something to kind of protect himself. Basically, the ritual would create the image of a ghost around an object or a person in order to scare people away or try to get them to leave them alone. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay. I like that. So, yeah, I like that a lot. All right, so that's where we'll leave Jonas for right now. Let me find... Yep, there we go. So let's talk a little bit about Birdie's character, otherwise known as Daimi. How do you pronounce your last name?
Srihash.
Okay. So just Daimi then.
I don't know. Go full Russian, you cowards.
Okay.
No, she is. Her family's been there as old as the nobles that, set up all of the trades and set up reinforcing the wall and pay for all the ships and all that. But they're not that. They're not nobles. They've just been there forever. So she knows everyone, baby. She's a hound. She can track down whoever you need to find, whether you need them dead or alive.
That's exciting. Okay. So talk to me a little bit about some of the character optimization or the character choices that you picked. I see that you picked Scout. So talk to me a little bit about what that's all about.
I didn't realize we weren't going to have a cutter, so I didn't think we were going to need...
Oh, no, I'm not talking about from a mechanical standpoint. I'm saying, what was the character trait that you're thinking about that makes her a scout?
Oh, because she's a subordinate in a big giant family that's not that important, but is always trying to seem more important than it is. So she's just good at being told what to do. So I would be the one going out and to find the information, going out and coming back, hey, I heard such and such needs XYZ. Or if we're in the middle of the job and it's like, hey, can you go find out where it's dangerous and where it's not? That's what I want to do.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. And you guys don't need a cutter or any other playbook. The game allows for any job where you feel like you're going to need somebody who has that playbook. You can pay a number of coin to just hire somebody of that playbook for that mission. It just, the more coins you spend, either the more competent they are on the slider or the more loyal they are to you on the slider, right?
Okay.
So you guys can just do it that way. All right, so let's talk about Abernathy Haverford, otherwise known as Emrys.
Greetings. So, I came from the semi-mythical isles of Tykeros, not quite sure how you would say that, as the scorned son of a somewhat important family. Given how burned out the world is, I assume that children are heavily favorited, and for some reason, which I will, of course, never ever discuss, I was not. So I struck out with what skills I had to another town to attempt to set up a place for myself there.
Okay. So, talk to me about character specialization options. What did you choose as your special ability? I can't see it listed here.
I chose Foresight. 2 times per score, I can assist a teammate without paying any stress. I just have to tell you how I prepared for it. So I figure, I must have been good at figuring out the lay of the land, who I could talk to, when to avoid my parents, all that sort of wonderful thing. So I decided I wanted to play kind of a mastermind, somebody who is observant, somebody who plans, somebody who knows what's going on, and, knows what the eventualities could be, and has, of course, picked the most likely one.
Nice. I like it. Okay. So, yeah. And the spider is kind of an interesting playbook in this game, in that in all 3 areas, like if you want to cut an RPG into broad categories, you have kind of like your combat, your magic, right? And then you also have your like socialization and skill-based things. In Blades in the Dark, there's like 3 different interpretations of each one of those ideas, right? Because you're like a mastermind, kind of like planner, assister type social character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also the slide, which is more the manipulator, right? And then there's also the sneaking class, which is more like the traditional rogue, which still has some of that socialization sprinkled in. So it's neat the way they kind of divvy up, really, and let you get deep into the flavor of a specific type of character. And last, but certainly not least, let's talk about Dolben Westgate as played by Simon.
Yeah, well, Dolben was a child of refugees who came to Doskvol, but who died shortly thereafter, to the best of his knowledge. The Doskvol authorities then indentured him to the local dye works because they don't want to look after children. He spent the next several years at a dye works. His alias, Bluefoot, comes from the fact that he spent his formative years stomping out indigo extract in the dye vats, and that permanently stained his feet blue.
Nice. I like it. It's good. It's good.
Well, he realized as he was getting near his freedom, that his employers, in fact, intended to charge him for all of the room and board they had provided for the previous years, basically keeping him in servitude forever. Jerks. So he decided that he was going to get out of that. He made a deal with the local corpse dealer to provide him with an extract that would allow him to simulate his own death. When he spent a week dead, to be sold to the corpse dealer, smuggled out as a dead body, and then went on his way, having learned chemistry by observing and studying years of, the dye and chemical industry.
Nice. I like it.
Sounds like Dolben and I are going to be good friends.
Well, and we're going to talk to that. We're going to talk a little bit about that as we build our crew, and then it kind of will help you all shake out how you're connected and who may be a rival in the gang for you, or who may be a somebody who's a closely held ally. So we decided that we were going to be playing a crew of shadows. So that's very exciting, because the shadows are kind of a more generalist crew, where it's like somewhat similar to the Thieves Guild that is common in other games. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yes.
So you're spies, information brokers, and you steal stuff, right? Some of the other crews are focused on very specific aspects of underworld life, like the assassins, might kill people, and they might take stuff off those bodies, but their main thing is killers for hire. One of the other neat things is, even though you guys we're gonna build a crew together, we're not going to. You're not prohibited from taking any mission that you want. You guys can do whatever you want, whatever job or interesting opportunity avails the Doskvol Dandies. You guys are going to be able to take whatever you want. So speaking of which, let me start working on some of this stuff, and we're going to start working on this together. So the crew is the Doskvol Dandies, and I believe we start with a 0 reputation, from what I understand. Yeah, 0 rep. Womp womp. Oh no, I mean...
It's strong tier 0, though.
Yes, it's very strong tier 0. So 0 rep. We have a stronghold. We are tier 0, so we don't have any of these tiers filled out. We have no rep. And we need to choose our initial reputation and lair. So meaning, the choices we have is ambitious, brutal, daring, honorable, professional, savvy, subtle, and strange. So what is this upstart group? How are they known to other denizens of the Doskvol underworld?
Let's see.
I would tend to vote for subtle, because that seems to me to befit thieves and spies. If we were brave or daring, we wouldn't be very good spies, because everybody would know about us.
All right.
I don't know.
Well,
being a little ballsy can get you a lot of work. Taking on a job that other people might not want to do.
Right.
That's true.
I feel like Dime's entire attitude is, if you can't find work, you're not looking hard enough.
I'm feeling subtle or savvy. I also see us as
Savvy could work as well. Because Savvy just fit in anywhere.
Okay. Thoughts?
Savvy would mean we're also good at picking what work to take. That's something I think would be good for the crew. I like that one.
All right, savvy it is.
I'll go with that. Yep.
All right, so let's talk about the next thing, where we need to pick our starting lair. Oh, let me see where the starting lair information is. So I think we're going to do the standard start. So we're going to be in the, if we go back to the map for a second, we're going to be in Crow's Foot, which is this area right below Charter Hall that's basically directly to the south of the center of the map. It gives us a good starting point in a more or less neutral district that we can use as our starting ground. So inside of that area, we can either have a half-sunken grotto in the city's maze-like underground canals, an abandoned watchtower atop an ancient crumbling wall, an unassuming back room of a merchant shop, just being behind that inside the back room of that Chinese restaurant, a A small abandoned house at the end of a dark lane. A rickety tin roof shack perched upon a rooftop of a larger building. Or a junked rail car rusted in place on its old, overgrown tracks.
I'm kind of in favor of the watchtower.
As am I. I like high ground.
Okay, so our starting layer is an abandoned watchtower in Crow's Foot.
Unless the other two people want to wait.
I'm
Good?
fine with the water tower.
So the interesting thing about this game is that, well, actually, I don't have to put Crow's Foot, because technically this watchtower can be anywhere. It doesn't actually have to be in Crow's Foot. Crow's Foot is just where your territory is. So you're going to establish your hunting ground. So in order to establish your hunting ground, this is a 3 or 4 city block area where you are more well known and where you have more control over what happens. You have to... This city is small. There's no room for you to freely take. You know, this isn't like a homesteader situation. You need to pay somebody off or piss somebody off to get your starting territory, because no one's giving up territory freely. So you have a couple of options of how you're going to get your starting territory from the existing factions. You can either pay them off and give them 1 coin. If you give them 2 coin, you gain 1 status with them, so you get their territory, but they're not mad about it. They're actually kind of friendly to you, right? You're like a vassal almost. Or you can just keep your money and gain -1 status with the faction of whatever territory you took.
And I think it's worth noting that we also only have 2 coin at this point. So if we want to pay them off, we can't do any other options during startup that require coin.
That's correct. Everything in this game is a choice.
My personal opinion, take it for what you will, I'd prefer to give them 1 coin and neutral status. So that way we still have 1 for something else. Nobody's mad, but nobody's happy with us. But that's just me. Feel free for the rest of the group to overrule me if you want.
I'm good with that. Or just doing our work and starting with -1 status.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm rolling it around in my head. I don't know.
I'm okay with them with having a mild rivalry with these people,
Okay. I mean,
with the existing powers that be.
Are they?
Yeah, maybe
Because
we should.
there are some big movers and shakers in
well,
the city.
let's
smaller
let's talk about that. So the first thing that we're going to do is we've got to talk about the let me find the starting the game. All right, so if we do the starting situation where we're at the war in Crow's Foot, the gangs that are currently upset are the Lampbacks and the Red Sashes and the Crows. So there's a lot of different options we can choose here, but those are the 3 main underworld factions in this area that we could potentially be taking peoples from. So in this starting, the gang leader that started and basically brought peace to Crow's Foot has died. Rorik, who basically was like the overboss of all 3 of these gangs. Well, he led the Crows, but the Crows basically kept the Red Sashes and the Lampbacks in line as vassals, basically. He's died, and his second in command, Lissa, has taken control. But now there's basically a three-way power struggle for control of this island. So, who do we want to take it from?
The Lampbacks sound the wussiest to me.
I was about to say the weakest faction. Like, I wouldn't mind like having the weakest faction pissed at us,
Right.
but not the crows.
Yeah, considering it's called Crow's Foot, that sounds like a bad idea.
Okay. So we're gonna.
I'm
going to
be against the sashes.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
I'm against the sashes.
So you, as in, you want them to be the one that you took territory from?
Yeah.
All right. So anybody else got strong opinions?
What about the sashes makes them your target?
They're my target for character reasons of basically really hating working with red dyes.
Well,
So that's how it's gonna be, huh?
Mm-hmm. Just like completely resentful about that.
so it's worth noting all three of these gangs are tier 2. So hypothetically, in game terminology, none of them are more of a threat than anyone else.
What kind of gangs are they? Are they bravos or assassins or whatnot?
You don't know what their specific playbooks might be. The Red Sashes are like a very violent, like street fighting gang.
Of course, they're.
The Lamp Blacks are the old lamp lighting guild turned into like a second story criminal organization, and the Crows are just like more like basically like a mafia type deal where they have their hands basically in everything.
Yeah, so the Lampback sounds like, to me anyway, that they just shake people down for protection. Maybe not, but I'd rather fight them than people that are known to be violent.
I'm going to also put a voice for the Lampbacks, especially because it makes sense that we would take their territory, since if they're into like second story burglary and type and we're shadows, it makes sense there'd be some overlap, so we'd want to be exclusive in area.
All right, I'll yield on this matter. I will defer to the judgment of the crew.
Okay.
In desire for us not to be just slaughtered by.
So that means we get one of these hunting grounds at the start of the game. So we have a loyal fence, informants, covert drops, or just turf.
So fence sounds useful considering what we do.
Fences for moving merchants.
Well, if we
It means
look
if you
at-
take a job that fits into that category, you get additional 2 coin for it.
Right.
Covert drops is espionage and sabotage, while loyal fences are burglary and robbery.
Okay.
I kind of like the drop.
What were other options again? Informants as well?
Yep, or turf, which just basically adds to the level up. Gets you closer to the level up for your gang and gets you, more potential people to pull cohorts and allies from.
And
Which is not insignificant either.
Yeah. And informants is extra
1 dice when you roll gather information for any score.
So we can get a bonus to coin for 2 types of jobs, a bonus to coin for the other 2 types of jobs, bonus towards getting information for our scores, or basically points towards the next level.
Correct.
What do you guys think? I know what I think, but I feel like don't want to be the first one to talk up all the time.
Let's talk about this in games terms. What type of gang are the Dandies? Are they the kind of people that are more interested in the people that they have connections with, right? Are they more about being connected to the greater, like, scoundrel community? In that case, maybe informants would make more sense. If you're really all about that coin in retirement, and that you're job focused, then it might be the fence, right? If you're all about becoming a new power player in the city, then maybe the covert drops makes more sense because you're becoming more of like a secret broker and finding that dirt that's going to help you leverage your way to the top of the food chain. You see what I'm saying? Let's think about it in terms of what this kind of story this tells about the gang.
So, personally, somewhere between the burglary and the espionage stuff is where my head's at. I see some interest in doing either one of those, though I think the espionage and sabotage could be fun.
As the spider, the mastermind, I like knowing people. I like in character. I like informants. I like knowing more. I like knowing more people. So I, by extension, know even more.
Okay.
In character, I would go for informants as well.
All right. Anybody else? Did I lose everybody?
No, we're here.
Yeah.
Informants? Yep.
All right.
Informants is fine.
Cool by me.
All right. So your informants is your first turf. So that means you're very connected. Now, the neat thing is also, when you roll informants, we're going to end up just making a lot of contacts on the fly. We don't have to pre-plan a lot of these things. So now we get to pick a special ability. We get to choose one special ability at the start of the game. Our options include Everyone Steals. Each PC may add 1 action rating to Prowl, Finesse, or Tinker. So it just gives everybody a straight increase to being sneaky. Right? We have Ghost Echoes. The member of the crew gain the ability to see and interact with ghostly structures, streets, and objects within the echo of Doskvol that exists in the ghost field. Pack Rats. Your lair is a jumble of stolen items. When you roll to acquire an asset, get 1 die. So it's easier for you to find stuff because you guys have a bunch of stuff that you've already stolen. Patron. When you advance your tier, it costs half the coin it normally would. Who is your patron? Why do they help you? Well, that's something that we can make a plot point if we choose that one. Second story, when you execute a clandestine infiltration as your approach, right? When you choose to go in soft, you get +1 die to the engagement roll, so you have a higher chance of being in a good situation when you choose sneaking in as your option. Slippery, when you roll entanglements, roll twice and keep the one you want. When you reduce the heat on the crew, take an additional +1 die. All these are great. Synchronize, when you perform a group action, you may count multiple 6s from different rolls as a critical success. That's really good. And Veteran, which can be taken multiple times, choose a special ability from another crew.
I am against Everyone Steals because that caps out. And I'm sorry, this is the gamer in me talking. It caps out at a max rating of 3. So eventually it may become somewhat useless to some of us, especially because it's only choosing one of those 3. So eventually, well, of course, we're going to choose the one most important to us, and then we'll get there, and then we'll no longer need it. So I'm against that one.
Well, no, this is just a permanent black dot you put on your... It's like free experience, Emrys.
Wouldn't we just use that... Wouldn't we just allocate that dot elsewhere then?
Well, yeah, but it doesn't
dot
matter.
that we would eventually get.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I was misunderstanding it. My apologies.
It's just a straight dot. It's not like once you hit 3, it disappears into the ether. It's if you're currently at 2, you go to 3, and it's like your stats permanently at 3. All right.
Okay, my bad.
But yeah, all these are really good. The patron one's really good from a developing the gang standpoint. Pack Rats is really good, and so is Second Story with getting missions done. Ghost Echoes doesn't sound like it would be really useful, but since ghosts are more or less omnipresent in Doskvol, it's pretty good.
That's of interest to my character, I'll say that much.
I really like Everyone Steals because I feel like we have...
So do I.
We have a lot of tinkerers, prowlers, and finessers in this group. Like, is there anyone in the group who does not have one of those 3 as one of their main things they do?
I can't,
Yeah.
I can't say I don't, but at the same time, patron and synchronized look better to me, especially synchronized. Just starting out, just trying to figure out what the hell we're doing, like being able to work as a more cohesive unit sounds more appealing to me.
All right, let's put it to a vote. So, who wants everyone steals?
I,
We can't see.
me,
All right. Okay, so basically we have like one vote for Ghost Echoes, one vote for Synchronized, and one vote for everyone steals. And then Emrys, what's your choice?
You know what? I'm gonna put it up to a D3. 1 to 2 is everyone steals. 3 or 4 is Ghost Echoes, and the last one is synchronized.
Okay.
That would be a 2. The dice have spoken. I vote for everybody steals.
All right. So everybody
All right.
right now add +1 to one of those 3 ratings.
Oh, where did I put my character sheet?
And then I'll eventually drop your updated character sheets in the character chat on the Discord, so I can update the image or links.
So, having not played this game, is it better to have 3 dots or to pick up something I don't currently have?
That depends on whether or not you think. Because remember, you don't say, I want to roll prowl. You say, I'm going to try to sneak in through the window, and then I say that's a prowl roll. You do
Right.
not call for specific die rolls in this game. You tell me how you solve the problem, and then you and I agree on what type of die roll that falls under.
Okay.
So if you want to be able to do more interesting and wide things narratively, put it in something that you don't already have. If you want to be really good at doing certain types of things inside the narrative, then put it in one that already has dots in it.
Okie dokie then.
But yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the next thing. We have some crew upgrades. So we start with 2 pre-selected upgrades, which is that our layer is hidden and that we have prowess. So I don't remember exactly what prowess does.
I think it's that we can use one of our downtime activities to get 1 XP in one of the any or towards prowess that we could put to dots later.
Okay, and hidden is the other one.
Your lair has a secret location and is disguised to hide it from view. If your lair is discovered, use 2 downtime activities and pay coin equal to your tier to relocate it and hide it again.
So we get 2 additional upgrades when we start. So we've got some options. So we can get some higher quality gear. We can get some cohorts, which would be interesting. Cohorts is basically a gang or a simple expert that works for your crew. So whether or not the gang is just the 4 of you or you have lackeys at the start of the game.
I kind of like the idea of lackeys.
I like the idea of lackeys too.
muscle.
Okay, so a new cohort costs 2 upgrades. So that's going to be both of our upgrades, which is fine.
Did I just freeze on every?
Nope, you're there. We can
Okay.
hear
It just went completely dead.
you. But it costs... Go ahead.
Never mind, he came back.
We lost video for a second there on Abernath.
Oh no!
So cohort costs 2 upgrades, but it would get us a small gang of NPCs.
Oh.
So when you create a gang, we choose a type. Adepts, like scholars, tinkerers, occultists, and chemists. Rooks, which are con artists, spies, and socialites. rovers, sailors, which are sailors, carriage drivers, and Deathland scavengers, skulks, which are scouts, infiltrators, and thieves, or thugs, killers, brawlers, and roustabouts. So we're a 0 tier gang, and the cohort will grow as we grow. So at 0 tier, it's 2 people that we have. So you basically have 2 additional lackeys. So what kind of lackeys do we want?
We can't pick 1 and 1 from different ones.
No.
I'm thinking we probably want either rooks or skulks. Rooks might help us find more information about what to do, whereas skulks would be the ones who would actually do jobs while do other jobs while we're doing the main job.
I was thinking skulks myself, either that or the one with the courtiers, because it always pays to have someone in the upper class.
Yes, that was my first thought, was the socialites.
All right, so we're going to do rooks. We're going to call them Jesse and James, since it's just the 2 of them.
Oh, dear.
Doskvol Dandies, a.k.a. Team Rocket.
Yeah,
Okay, we have to give
Team
them
Rocket.
we have to give them the unreliable flaw for whenever they blast off again.
Yes.
It is.
This does not let me get... This editable sheet does not let me go down to a new line under cohort.
Oh, no.
It kind of sucks.
Well, that's fine. We'll just write that they're rooks. All right. So we have to pick an edge and a flaw for our cohort. So they can be fearsome, independent, loyal, or tenacious. So fearsome means that they have a terrifying aspect and reputation. Independent, meaning that you don't have to be as explicit when you tell them to do things. Loyal, they can't be bribed or turned against you, so it basically inoculates them against being bribed or turned against you as a complication or an entanglement. Tenacious, this cohort won't be deterred from a task, even if it's hard, so you can give them more difficult tasks and be assured that it will get done.
I'm going to say loyal, because
second loyal.
The last thing we want is an enemy within.
So the flaws are principled, savage, unreliable, or wild. Principle means that they have ethic or values, so they won't do really shady shit.
Not that.
Savage, the cohort is excessively violent and cruel, which may cause entanglements. Unreliable, the cohort isn't always available due to other obligations, like being members of Team Rocket. And wild, the cohort is drunken, debauched, and loudmouthed.
Definitely not loudmouthed.
I'm in favor of savage. I'd rather clean up messes than draw additional attention. I guess that draws attention too, but
I'll say unreliable. I'm not expecting them to be there 24/7, but I am also expecting them not to put a poisoned dagger in our back.
So what are we thinking?
I like unreliable as well, especially from the story standpoint. That's why they're not PCs. They're like probies.
Okay, so when you pick your additional 2 crew upgrades, you have to we have to pick 2 factions. One faction helped you get the upgrade. They like you, and you get +1 status with them. And if you spend a coin, you can get +2 status with them instead. And one faction was screwed over by your upgrade. They don't like you, and you get -2 status with them. And if you spend 1 coin, you can take -1 status instead. So this doesn't necessarily have to be people that are in Crow's Foot with us. These can be anybody else. So, these are people who are comfortable in socialite circles. So these could be people from non-underworld factions, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people who helped us could be somebody who works for,
The blue coats.
well, I don't think the blue coats would necessarily help you get con artists, but I mean, but that could be the person that you have a negative with. Maybe the people that gave them to you busted them out of jail for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe that's why they're unreliable, because periodically they have to lie low when people get a good lead on them, right? So that's just, I don't want to tell the story.
So if our whole thing here is, what are we doing? Informants, right?
Informants and informants, spies, and thieves, but not but more like cat burglars.
So, I mean, maybe, someone wants us to do work for some reason, maybe to throw off one of their allies, but knows we need someone well placed in society to get some leads. So maybe, someone who's helping us out who has ulterior motives. I don't know.
Well, everybody has ulterior motives. No, but I'm saying you could have somebody, a really cute option for this is if you wanted the people who helped you to be the inspectors. The inspectors are outside criminal investigators appointed by the emperor themselves, who are usually people who are trying to shake up the existing power structure to see who is, corrupt enough that they actually need to be dealt with.
And then it would make sense that they're trying to give a new gang some fairly competent people.
Right. But then if you did something like that, then you might have an issue with somebody who's more powerful, like the Hive, which is the criminal, Illuminati, which the, serious, real, legit people are a part of, right? What is that super secret criminal organization in Star Wars that's supposed to go across the entire galaxy? Anybody?
Black Sun?
The Black Sun, yeah, where it's it's not a gang because it's an Illuminati organization, right? It's a secret mob. So that's an idea. Or it could be something as simple as the inspectors took somebody out of jail for you, and now the gang that they used to be a part of is pissed off that you have their assets.
Yeah, but if they're loyal, that would be harder to justify.
They're loyal
that
to
side
you
of it.
now.
This
World is really shitty. Imagine what the jail here must be like.
True.
Yeah.
It's not exactly club fed. Let's put it that way.
Well, regardless of who we pick, since we didn't spend any coin to mollify the people we took the territory from, I'm going to suggest we spend a coin to make whoever we piss off have less of a negative status with us.
I agree.
Okay, so who's going to have helped you guys get this cohort?
I kind of like the idea of the inspectors trying to shake things up, personally.
Yeah.
It makes sense for the world that they're in. You don't want any one faction to consolidate enough power.
Okay. So who is upset by this?
How about, if not the gang they were part of, the gang that sold them out?
Okay.
How about the people who were in jail got sold out by one of the other gangs?
Somebody roll a d20 for me. Since We're operating off a very limited.
One. Don't go by mine.
I rolled a 9.
All right, let's go with 9. That's good.
That was going to be the hive. That was going to be so exciting. So that's
probably for the best.
That's the Gray Cloaks. And you guys said that you were going to hit the button and spend 1 coin, right?
Yes.
So you're only going to have 1 coin left. And you're going to spend 1 coin to only have -1 rep, right? Because normally it would be -2.
I believe we agreed on that.
Yep.
I agree.
I'm down.
I agree.
One of these days I'll learn how to type and spell. Okay. So we are all done with crew creation. It's very exciting.
We have to pick a favorite contact, I believe. Oh, no, that's for each person, I guess. Take a look at your list of potential contacts on the crew sheet.
Yeah.
Choose one who's a close friend.
We will, I don't have the faction sheet made up. We will troubleshoot that between now and the next session, where everybody will tell me what kind of contact they have, and we'll do the -1 +1 rep for them.
Okay.
All right, so let's go back to this for a second, since we're just going to be chatting. So let's talk a little bit about some of the... Well, I guess this would be a good opportunity I want people to talk a little bit about what they kind of imagine this gang to be all about. What's the element that attracted you to this type of crew? Why don't we start with you, Birdie?
I am going to say that Abernathy, you're the spider, right?
Yes.
So, with no crew of your own, maybe you were just trying to find people. Since I find people, you found me first to find you people. And because I'm so good at taking direction, you decided to keep me. And that's...
See, I like this already. So we were kind of the first two, and then you helped hunt down these other two, and then one of you guys got in contact with the what were they called again? We just said it. The inspectors to get us our lackeys.
I think that's would be a Dimey thing, since she kind of has this family history thing going, and she's a hunter, so she's likely to find people that are looking for people anyway.
Let me tell you what, as someone whose family goes back a long time in the market, I love that we're pissing off the union men of the lampbacks. Like, that tickles me. So yeah, that could be me.
All right. So we're going to start us out in the War for Crow's Foot. So as I said, Rorik, who was more or less the underboss of this area of town, passed away under pretty mysterious circumstances.
Aren't they all in Doskvol, though? Aren't they all?
I mean, some people probably die of natural causes.
Yeah, and then they get turned into electricity.
Yeah. So the word around the campfire is that it was Alyssa, his second in command, and probably one of the more cutthroat, much less restrained professional than her former leader. So people are saying that she did it, but nobody wants to cross her because she's terrifying. So she's trying to establish herself over the gang, which is pretty pissed off over the passing of their leader, while also trying to reestablish the Crows' dominance over the island. In addition, fear of Rorik had held the Lamp Blacks and the Red Sashes from fighting each other over their hotly contested territory. So it's exploded again into open war in the streets for control of their territory. So, I'm going to say that because your initial hunting grounds, those informants, were taken from the Lamp Blacks, you end up... Lamp Blacks. Yeah,
Blacks with an L or with an A?
Yes, because the idea is their gang is named Lamp Blacks because all the lamps went black and they all got fired when the electricity got implemented.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, you end up in the office of the Lamp Blacks leader, Bazo Baz, because he found out that a new gang is pushing into his territory, and he wanted
what are they called?
You're going to have to introduce yourself. But he wants to have a little word and see if, maybe you guys just didn't understand how things work around here. Maybe there's something you can do to make it up to him and help him, reestablish his interests elsewhere. So you're in the cramped office of the Lamp Blacks leader, Bazo Baz, overlooking the grimy, dimly lit coal warehouse that the Lamp Blacks use to keep some of their less valuable moody goods and where they congregate in the evenings. There's some tables, small candles, people playing cards. Everyone's pretty heavily armed, and there's a significant number of scoundrels, but all of them are pretty far distance from the main table where you are now sitting with Bazo, who has, an equal number of very large men standing behind each one of your chairs. So, maybe you didn't understand, but I run a business in this area, and you just can't move in on my territory without coming to pay your respects and working out an agreement. Now, I know that working in this town isn't easy, but unfortunately, especially things being as they are, I can't just let it be known that I let 4 nobodies come into my territory and take some of my best whisper men from me. So tell me, are you with them? Did the Red Sashes put you up to moving in on my territory, causing me another problem? Because if that's the case, then we're going to have a problem. Or so. And he's going to go, any of you fucks want to give me an answer? And he has this whole speech while he's very politely pouring you glasses of what looks like it might actually be wine.
Wow.
Not like mushroom liquor.
Yeah,
And like potato booze, which is what the city runs on.
I'm going to take it. I'm going to toss it back.
Oh my.
So, tell me a little bit about what you all are doing here.
I'm drinking. I'm drinking. Taking the wine.
We're here to eke out a living just like everyone else.
You may note that my special ability for my leech is chemical fortitude. So I can expend my special armor to avoid any kind of chemical effect.
Okay.
So I'm doing this trying to do this sort of brazenly.
Okay.
Without hesitation.
All right. So, so explain to me exactly what you're doing again.
So he putting this in front of us with the implicit danger of it being poison or it being at least an implicit danger there.
Oh, he's just being very hospitable.
Or he's just being very hospitable, but being among cutthroats.
Like us have never seen wine. So go ahead, the chemically fortified one. I'll let him drink first.
Yeah, so I'm just going to sort of...
So nothing bad happens.
All right. How's the wine?
It's good. It's a cheaper vintage, but still probably more than what you could afford at this juncture. And he's going to say, very quiet, the four of you. Emrys, this is where you would jump in.
I guess I'd say...
Or Birdie, because you also have Socialize on yours, don't you?
All right, I'll jump in because I'm kind of the mastermind. It would make sense. So it's like, no, we're on our own side, just like you. We're not in anybody's pocket. We saw an opportunity for the four of us, and we took it. And it appears we took from you.
All right. Do me a favor, and why don't you roll to go ahead and do a manipulation there.
So which would that be? Consort or sway, I'm guessing?
In this case, you're swaying because you're not exactly telling him the truth. Right? You do have alliances that have come from this. And basically no one would like to know that you have any kind of positive reputation with the inspectors. Because the inspectors are basically the marshals.
Alrighty. Well, I have one die in sway, and seeing as how I'm pretty sure this is a fairly desperate situation, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take 2 stress. I'm going to push myself.
What if I help? Can I add a die?
Yeah, but you have to explain in fiction how you're helping.
I'm going to corroborate the lie. I'm going to say we have nothing to do with, like, the only thing we have for the red sashes is distaste. Tell them, Bluefoot, like, they're tacky.
Or Abernathy.
No, Bluefoot's the one that's like they're...
Right. Yeah. Okay, so you can roll it as well, but you have to take the stress to do so.
So I think you would take 1 stress and I'd go up to 2 dice from my 1.
Correct.
Where is it? There it is.
And I also have a die in... a dot in sway. I know in consort, but I guess consort is not...
Not the same, so...
All right. Anybody else want to...
for me?
I think just because this is not a very good situation, I'm still going to push myself for 2 stress to put myself up to 3 dice.
Okay, sounds good.
So before you roll, is there anything we could do? I know timeline-wise, this game's really wishy-washy. Like, is there anything we could have done to research the area we're moving into, that kind of stuff beforehand to give us a little bit of an edge up here, or no?
No, this is just literally setting up the first job.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Alrighty, so rolling the 3 dice, I have a 5, a 4, and 1 that fell off my surface, which is a 5. So I picked the highest, which is a 5.
Okay, so let's take a look at the skill. And when you sway... Give me 1 second, I'm finding it. When you sway, you're in a desperate position.
Alrighty. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark a resolve experience then, because I made a skill roll while desperate.
Okay. So, you have done it, but with a complication. So, what he's going to say is, all right, if that's the case, if you are just moving into my territory to carve out a little of your own business, that's all well and good, but I'm going to need you to do some jobs for me from time to time, unless you want me to divert more of my attention to you. And we wouldn't want that. We just became new friends. So I've got something I need you to take care of. Something that I wouldn't want any of my boys to do directly. Keep things from escalating any farther. Wouldn't want the crows to get involved. So I want you to... we know that the Red Sashes have been stockpiling coin so that they can hire some muscle to try to run us off our territory. Now, me and my boys put up a good fight, but we'll take any advantage we can get. So what I want you to do, they're not looking for 4 nobodies. I want you to figure out where that coin's being held, and I want you to steal it. From what I reckon, there's about 12 coin that they've had stashed up from what I know from my moles. So what I want you to do is I want you to steal that coin, and I expect 8 from my gang. Then you and yours can keep 4. Now, ordinarily when I give my associates an opportunity for employment, it's I give them a lot more leeway. But in this case, I think you're going to need to take care of this for me. And that's pretty much going to be it. Now, is there anything else I can do for you? Or can I trust that you'll take care of this to smooth over your transgression on my gang?
Doesn't
This
sound like we have
squares
a whole
us?
lot of choice.
For the time being, until I...
What better rent is there than a job?
well, we'll see how competent a lot of you are. Whether or not you deserve that land you're sitting on now. So he's going to raise his glass and he's going to say, "To my new friends, may the 4 of you make us all richer." And he's going to do a little... drain it, and then he's going to get up without addressing you at all and, basically smooth down the vest of his jacket, or the vest of his suit, put his jacket back on, and go join a group of, looks like his lieutenants playing cards, without acknowledging you again. And the gentleman will, they're not going to put hands on you, but they're very calmly going to walk you out and make a little box around the 4 of you as you walk out.
Toda na zdrowie, motherfucker.
Well, alrighty then.
All right, so you have your first job, which we are gonna, which for bookkeeping purposes, we'll call it the War Treasury. So you're gonna steal a lot of money from the Red Sashes.
Or die trying.
That is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted him to go away and leave us alone, but that's a high fucking rent.
Yep. Oh, and he's gonna give you a tip. This
Well, how nice of him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a nice guy. Let me jump over here real quick, because he's gonna give you the location of the let's go ahead and get the map up here. He's gonna give you the location. So the store, for safety purposes, is not in Crowsfoot. He got tipped off by one of his moles down in White Crown that there's a well-to-do bank that has an off-site vault that caters to more clandestine customers. That's much less protected than the main vault, the main bank front. And that's where the Red Sashes are keeping this cache of coin. So it's somewhere in the White Crown district.
Okay. So I guess we got to find the vault before we can do a whole bunch of anything.
So here's the deal. The way this game works, you're going to choose the method that which you are going to approach the job, and then we cut straight to the action of you finding it and doing it.
Okay.
So
What
let me...
So method would be something from our gang, right?
Yep. So the first thing that you pick is how you're going to approach the job. Are you going to do assault, deception, stealth, occult, social, or transport?
Probably stealth.
That's kind of my thought also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless our spider has some plan to get social access.
I have a question.
Yes?
Several times over the course of the rule book, it says that the game master has to tell us the truth.
Yeah. I basically always have to tell you the truth.
All right, but
I don't have to. I have to give you the truth that character has. So, for example, if you pick like a hobo off the street and interrogate him, he can't tell you who has the keys to the vault because he doesn't know. But in any role, I have to give you the best information that I can with the role that you made. I can't lie or mislead you like I would in other games, giving you false information. I can't take away anything that you earned with a successful role.
okay, but here's the thing: like, do we trust this? Like, do we want to ask around our own sources?
Oh, no.
So we have them to find out if the Red Sashes are actually doing this. Because if he knows where it is and he doesn't want to touch it himself, could he just be trying to like get rid of the people that are walking into his territory unannounced?
Okay. So, in this type of game, if I give you a score, the score is legit, even if there are consequences after the fact.
I have watched too much TV.
Yep. Because otherwise this type of mission-based game doesn't work, because then I'm basically saying surprise, no reward.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Simon, could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Could you adjust your camera down slightly? Thank you.
We've been getting less and less of your face as the night has worn on.
But yeah, so we're going to pick the approach as stealth, trespass unseen.
Also put my little PDF, my little tablet up so I can look at the PDF without...
Yeah, I gotcha. So the detail that you have to come up with is the point of infiltration. So we're going to say as part of the engagement role, you do find it, because that's the way the engagement role works. But if you're infiltrating like an off-site, like hard building, right, where it's got probably more serious locks, more serious, bars on the windows, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to be your point of infiltration? Is it going to be a person? Like a weak point in the person? Are you going to get in on the roof and try to come in through the roof? Or are you going to try to see if there's like sewer access? Do you know what I'm saying? And you don't have to really think about it too much because we just get right to it. But it's just pick a point of action for me to basically anchor the narrative off of.
I vote person. People are always the weak point.
I agree.
Or you can roll a gather information check to come up with the best entry point.
Oh, hey. I have that thing. Am I locating a target?
No, because in your case, a target is a specific person. Well, yes, in this case, I'd say a target. You're trying to target a specific person, so you sure, roll it.
What is +1 effect?
So that means instead of... Right now, you're in a risky position, which is the normal default position. You're not super controlled, because you don't have all the information, but you're not desperate. So risky, normally you would get like a normal success. So you'd get normal effect. If you roll well on this, you now get the superior effect.
Okay. How do we decide what I roll?
Well, you have
Well-
stats, right?
Yes.
Well, it says for the... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Emrys.
It says the engagement roll would be a fortune roll starting with 1 die for sheer luck. Modify it for any major advantages and disadvantages, and it has a list of modifiers.
We are actually before the we're before the
Engagement roll.
the engagement roll.
Okay.
So let's take a look at Daimi's character sheet. So gather info to locate effect. When you hide or prepared or you blah blah blah. So just do me a favor. In this case, you're gonna just roll your hunt and tell me what you get.
So that's 2?
It's 2.
I got a 6 and a 5.
So you get a
Nice.
superior effect. So you tell me what you want to have happen. If you find this person that guards this thing, what is it that you want to have happen?
Can I know them beforehand?
You tell
Can
me.
Yeah, you get to
Can it be
you get
like,
to make up this whole thing now. You get to say exactly what you want to happen.
all right, awesome. What if I say my cousin works there and I can tell him to, like, take a fucking hike? You know what I mean? Just, like, miss one tour.
One of his rounds, he takes a little extra time or something.
Yeah, take a long lunch break.
Okay. So what I'm gonna say is, with the superior effect, this guy probably doesn't want to die, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with the superior effect, he's gonna leave a door, maybe like a side entrance, like a side hatch, unlocked for you. He's still gonna be on his normal patrol, but he's gonna leave that door completely unlocked for you as long as you arrive at the period of time when he is on patrol. So that's the point of entry. You're going in stealth. The point of infiltration is a door left open for you by... Would you consider it more interesting if it was somebody that you have a bounty for and you decided, hey, how about I just pretend like I never saw you?
Oh, I do like that because of who my rival is. Yes, let's do it. Let's do that.
Yeah. How about I just pretend I never saw you as long as you let us in? Okay.
I like.
So now we're going to do the fortune roll, which any of you can roll. Emrys, you already had that queued up, so you want to go over that with everybody?
Alrighty. The engagement roll is a fortune roll, starting off with 1 die for sheer luck. Modify the dice pool for any major advantages or disadvantages that apply. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? Take +1. Is it overly complex or contingent on many factors? Take -1. I don't know if that would qualify as either.
Okay. Well, also, we have to figure out how much gear that you guys are carrying, which I just forgot about. So you guys are gonna... Everybody watching, I appreciate everybody pardoning our dust, because I'm still... don't have the entire system into my... Now, if you do 4 to 5 load, you'll have normal. So if we look at the sheets, so for loadout, if you do normal, you can, as you're going, pick items, up to 5 items off of the side of your sheet per job, and you don't have to pick them before you go. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
All right, so do we want to do a light, normal, or heavy loadout?
I'm inclined to say normal.
Normal.
It's a first run. Let's do normal. Let's see how that works.
Okay, so we're doing a normal loadout. Emrys, do you want to roll the engagement roll, which is the standard roll for us?
Should I do the rest of the modifiers? Because one may apply, especially with what Daimi did.
Yeah, I'd say that a contact was used, so add an additional die.
Alrighty. Says,
Now-
does it explode?
The job is against a crew that is a tier higher, so that's -1 die.
So we started with 1, we got 1 for the contact, we lose 1 for the higher tier.
Correct.
And Dan, to clarify, for the items that we can also pick our special items too, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And then, alrighty, so it would just be 1 die. And since this is a fortune roll, I don't think anybody can take any stress or anything, right?
Correct.
Well, here goes. That is cocked, because it flew right back off my laptop. That is a 2. That is not a great roll. But we had 1 die, and it came up a 2.
All right, so you're in a desperate position when the action starts.
Okay.
So what I'm going to say is that when you arrive on the scene and you get into the point of entry, there is a one of the other guards, not the one that Daimi threatened off, and he's just in that alleyway, and looks like he's smoking some sort of drug-laden pipe and just kind of relaxing against the wall. And when you come down the alleyway towards the trapdoor, or not the trapdoor, but like the hatch door, he goes, "Oi! Who the fuck are you?" All right, let's do it.
I'm the guy who has fresh new pipe weed for you.
All right,
Because
roll a sway.
okay, I've got 3.
Okay. So you're in a desperate position, so things are gonna get spicy up in here.
That's
Right.
we can pick our gear.
Well, we pick our gear as we need it.
Okay.
So
So let me take a look. Or does somebody want to... Yeah, somebody can do a flashback. So what did you roll?
You roll a 3.
Yeah, although I don't actually have an action dot in Sway.
So you were just rolling 1 die?
Yeah.
Because you always get at least 1 die. Okay.
Well, it
I mean,
it says
I
that if
think
you did,
Go ahead.
it
I think it
says
was
that.
Go ahead, Emrys.
It says that if you actually don't have any dots, you're supposed to roll 2 and take the lowest, but you can always remember to push yourself or take a devil's bargain, so you have a way of always getting a minimum of 2.
So if I push myself, I can roll 2 dice.
Correct.
All right, I'll take 2 stress, and
Just roll that second die.
yep. That was a 2.
Okay. So he's going to say, all right, I'll take it. And whatever you got in your purse. And he takes out a pistol and levels it at all of you.
I think I know what I want to do, but I need to know how a particular item works first.
Well, actually, I got ahead of myself. Let's wind back. So let's say that some number of you were just kind of going towards the hatch. Birdie, would you have gone with the rest of the group, or would you be off by yourself?
I was about to say, I don't know why all 4 of us are advancing. Like, I want to be up high. I would want to be on the... Like, I'm a sharpshooter. I want to be on the roof.
Okay. So because of the situation with the engagement roll, I'd say that you were going, like, rooftop to follow them. But due to the desperate nature of the arrival, you're lagging behind. You were not able to traverse the rooftops as quickly as they were able to walk. So you're not yet on the scene. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got to deal with this guy. You've now got a sentry. He's got a gun cocked. There's other guards because there's there's 12 coins, a lot of money in this game. So we're not talking about individual coins.
Yeah.
One coin represents like one expensive item. So 12 coin is a small fortune.
It's like, 2 weeks gross take at a business.
Right.
Or not 2 weeks, 2 months gross take at a business.
It's a lot.
So, I have a question about the mechanics of a particular item.
Okay.
Slumber Essence. Is that like a potion that has to be drunk, or can it be splashed on somebody, or what?
You decide. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want to do. Don't think about this in the context of D&D. Tell me what you do, and then we will make the roll fit it.
What I want to do is I want to put on a show of going through my pockets and palm one of my special spider items, which is a 0-load vial of Slumber Essence. And then when I'm like, pretending to give him what's in my pocket, just fling it at his face, because it's Slumber Essence. It says it's sufficient to put someone to sleep for an hour. We could do that before the gun goes off.
Okay.
Then he's just out snoring.
Okay, so you want to basically throw this potion at him. Okay?
Yes.
All right, so you have you're in a desperate position. And let's see what I think that would work for from your probably a prowess roll.
Alrighty.
Or a skirmish.
Okay. I was hoping
I'm
for
gonna
finesse.
offer you a devil's bargain.
Bring it. What's the bargain?
So I'm gonna say that I'm gonna offer you one additional die on this roll if you're willing to do it hastily before he's ready to react. But in that you spill a bunch of the potion all over your hands and wrists. So you start it's like having ether spilled all over yourself. And you're going to take -1 dice rolls for further things that require dexterity or moving quickly because you're languid. Is that the word I'm looking for? Languid?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to reject that devil's bargain.
Okay. All right, so roll it.
Instead, I think I'm going to push myself for a die. So instead of 2 dice taken to lowest, got 1.
Man, all this stress is racking up here on the
survey
Dandies.
said. Yes, it is, and here we go with a 5. Can the camera see that? No. There we go.
We're doing the honor among thieves system for these die rolls.
Honor among thieves. Got a 5.
So you rolled a 5. So you do it, but there's a consequence. So I am gonna say that I don't think reduced effect would be good here because you either hit him with the potion or you don't hit him with the potion. So you either have a choice between severe harm or a serious complication. I'm gonna say that the harm is that you've got to deal with as I said, the potion may be clouding your mind a little bit, so you're gonna take harm on the harm chart. Or you're going to get a serious complication that his gun is going to go off as he crumples to the ground.
Oh, let's not do that.
Oh, looks like I'm getting the bad end of that devil's bargain regardless. Sure.
Well, no, it's not going to give you any problems right now. So let's look at the harm chart and let's talk about what we're going to do. So, I'm going to say that you're going to suffer a drowsy 1-level harm, which is going to give you reduced effect on your actions.
Alrighty. So I'm going to type drowsy there. And I guess just to go over it, partly for the people watching, partly because it's our first time, if I were to spend stress to try to reduce that and just make myself even more wigged out, how exactly would that work?
So you could always spend additional stress to reduce it. Let me find the resistance roll. Give me 1 second. So when you try to resist harm and download it or downgrade it, you suffer 6 stress minus the highest die roll to. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's not right. Give me 1 second. I don't remember what the rule is, because I know you can just spend stress.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep my stress for later. I just thought it might be a good thing to have out there the first time somebody suffered some, but we can wait for more dramatic.
No, I'm sorry. Okay, so you can reduce the severity of a consequence by 1 step. So in this case, it would become no harm, but you would by default take 6 stress, and then you would roll the die of the applicable attribute, and then you would minus that, and that whatever was left over would be how much stress you would take.
All right. And
so
since
in this case, it would be resolve.
Okay.
So if you want to roll that, you roll your resolve.
But if I do, then I have to decide to spend the stress no matter what the dice show, right?
Correct. So you take the stress no matter what.
All right. In that case, I think I will not do it. I will just be a bit drowsy as it a bit sloshes on my hands before the vial hits him in the face.
Okay. So that guy's down, and he just kind of, his pipe that he was kind of holding onto his sign clatters to the ground. The, orange embers scattering as it, patters loud, not super loudly, but, rings out on the stones, and he just kind of slumps against the wall and slides down unconscious as he is dosed with a chunk of your sleepy time tea. All right.
And since we came in desperate, pretty much every action we do would get us experience because they're all desperate actions, right? Or is that?
Go ahead. What were you going to ask?
Or is that just individual action by action basis?
Yeah, it's action by action, but I'll give you 1 experience for that.
All right.
Now, I would say that the success of that action moves you guys from desperate to risky, because you have control of the situation again. So now, what are we doing?
When I catch up, can I dismantle his gun and throw the pieces all around the alleyway? So even if he does wake up, if we don't get out of there within an hour, he's not as much of a threat.
Yeah, sure.
Nice.
You don't have to roll for that. You know how to break down a firearm. I mean, you don't even have to fully break it down. You're just basically going to take the firing pin out and just throw it down the street.
Can I keep it?
I mean, I guess.
Can I keep the souvenir?
A souvenir? You're a trophy taker? Great.
A memory, our first job, guys.
Good, because I'm going to be too sleepy to remember much of it at this point.
Yeah, can we leave him outside? Can he babysit?
I mean, he just looks like he's passed out.
Abernathy does?
No, the guy.
Oh, okay.
I think
he threw sleepy time tea on. So now that you guys have him out, you move on to the next step. The next steps, obviously, you could go around and try to enter through one of the other doors, or you could continue to try to press on through the original plan.
Well, we got an open door. We might as well use it.
Right, I mean, he's right next to our door, right?
Yeah, we should prop him up so he at least looks like he's still paying attention.
We're gonna weekend at Bernie's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna weekend at Bernie's him. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, prop him up and then we, peek into the door and move on to, yeah.
Now, don't forget you can also do flashbacks as well to deal with situations. But now you're inside. You're gonna weekend at Bernie's this guy in the alley.
Yep.
Simon, you look like you have something you want to say.
No, Ashley was just telling me to adjust the camera angle.
All right. So
Sorry.
you guys are inside the it's like it's almost like a powder magazine, if you're familiar with those types of buildings from history, where it's just like a very heavy stone building with some steel reinforcements. It's like just it's a complete box. And inside there's just several armored chests. And it looks like there's, like a small office. All the chests appear to be locked. There's nobody on the inside. All of the lights are out in here. It's pretty black. You're only getting a little bit of light in from the lamps outside coming in through the windows.
When Daimi talked to her guard buddy, could she have gotten information about which chest we need to look for, or are we just going to leave it at that and see if we can go further?
That sounds like a flashback.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
So anybody can do it. A flashback,
Oh, nice.
You could do a flashback with ghosts, Jonas. You can do all sorts of actions in flashbacks. Everything about this is you thinking about what would have been cool for you to have done.
Okay, so we could have hypothetically, since we do stuff with ghosts, got a ghost to follow one of the red sashes to the place and watch them deposit their coins.
Probably more reliable than any contacts I have, because everyone's an asshole, like Dan said.
Right. I mean.
Okay. So you're gonna take 1 stress, Jonas.
Okay.
Because that's just the cost of doing a flashback action.
No problem.
And then why don't you roll an attune for me, and I'll tell you how successful that was. Or it'll be successful, but there might be varying complications.
All right. So my tune is 2 dots, so I would roll 2 dice. Correct.
Correct.
That is a 1 and a 4, so obviously we'll take the 4.
Okay. So you're able to find a spirit that lets you know which chest the gold is kept in.
Okay.
Or I should say, let me see. So let me think what a complication for something like this would be. Interesting. I'm thinking.
Well, it's making a bargain with a dead spirit. What could possibly be a complication with that?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah,
What could possibly go wrong?
It's not like the ghost was trapped in a painting or something.
Oh, okay. Actually, you know what? There's no complication at this level. It's just a reduced effect. So I'm going to say he does exactly what you ask, and he shows you the one that has the gold that's earmarked for the red sashes in it by following one of the couriers. But you see in the vision that he gives you, kind of following this guy around, that there's a key, and he stopped following him after he locks up the lockbox, so he doesn't know where the key came from or went to after that. He doesn't look at who's actually holding the key. He just follows that guy's perception, so you have no idea who has the key or where the key is.
Gotcha.
Well, if it's a matter of opening a box, I'm willing to take
You could take a gear here or a flashback. Mark off your gear if you have some tool either on your basic everybody items or on your playbook specific items that you think are appropriate. It doesn't require a flashback if that's what you're thinking. If you want to do something with a flashback, let me know.
No, I was just going to say, I don't think we need to find the key, I'm willing to say I'm going to try to tinker that box open.
Okay, roll it. Now,
Okay.
just while he's working on that, Birdie, you're still just outside watching the door, right?
Am I? I thought I went inside. Sure, I can watch the door.
Okay. Tell me what you are doing. Did you stay outside or did you come in?
That's why I raised the point of leaving Abernathy outside, because he was drowsy.
Okay.
So he can't get out as quick, but he can holler in, "Hey, get out."
Okay, so are you outside or are you not outside?
I would like to be inside, yes.
Okay, Abernathy, are you outside or inside?
I'll go ahead and stay outside.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Go ahead, Bluefoot.
So I'm going to say that I brought along my fine tinkering tools as part of my load. And
Go ahead and mark that on your sheet if you haven't already. Are they 2 dots or 1 dot?
I see them as 1 dot.
Okay, yeah. So go ahead and roll it.
Does that change my dice at all, or do I just roll my number of dots?
No, you have superior gear for the action, so it gives you +1 die.
You know what I would like to do?
What's that?
I'm going to invoke both one of my spider powers and the flashback thing.
Okay. Let's resolve what Bluefoot's doing.
Well, the end point would be to assist him so he can get an extra die.
Okay.
I'm rolling 4 dice.
I think he's gonna be okay.
All right, never mind. I wasn't sure how many. 4 will be fine.
Yeah, I'm not rolling the dice. He is.
Yeah, I have a 6. I have 4, 5, 6, and 2.
Nice.
Okay, so you're able to use your tools, and these are really fine mechanism locks, but because of that, they're of a design that you're really familiar with. So you're able to very gently and very nuancedly open them without actually breaking the mechanism at all. So I'm going to say that you're able to open the chest very easily and quickly, and you're going to be able to restore the lock so that on a cursory notice, it appears like the chest hasn't been tampered with. So it's going to take them longer to figure out that the money's missing unless they check on it every day. Which, unless they're depositing money, they wouldn't.
Nice.
So right. That I also means I get an insight XP?
That's correct.
All right, we pop this baby open. Are there 12 coins inside of it?
Yeah. There's like heavy ingots of like measured out, like the little tiny bricks, like when you're doing like smelting bars of gold. Mm-hmm. And there's 12 coins worth of gold in there, as well as also it looks like a ledger book of protection payments. It's all using code names and code words, so you can't easily identify the businesses or their locations, but it looks like somebody was making the rounds collecting coin from various businesses and then bringing it back here to... This is the Red Sash's, one of the Red Sash's stash. Right? So you're raiding their reserves. And there is 12 coin in there.
I definitely want to take.
That's the other thing. How are you guys going to carry all this gold?
Burglary gear.
Burglary gear is like the climbing stuff, lock picks.
Oh no, climbing gear is separate.
Okay. Burglary gear is whatever you can convince me is gear that somebody would pre-make for committing crimes.
So let's flash back and stage a wagon or a carriage or something to haul it away with.
Okay. Who wants to do that?
Feels natural for our spider to...
All right, just a moment. Let me look up acquiring assets. because I know there's a thing for acquiring assets in here, and we could easily get a wagon cart drawn by goats. Because apparently, apparently horses are like stupid rare nowadays. It's all goats.
Yep.
All right, downtime activities.
So when you say 12 coins, you don't mean like actual coin-sized coins. They're like blocks of gold.
No,
there's
because
probably-
okay, in this game, one coin is like the equivalent of like a month's profits from a medium-sized business. Coin is an abstraction.
Right, so it's like a whole block.
Stack, or it's just like a standard measurement.
Right, or conversely, I could just as easily say that it's like 5 big bags of silver coins. Do you know what I'm saying?
Please don't.
All right, one second.
Like 12 little finger dealies.
So acquiring asset is on 153.
Roll the cruise tier. The result indicates the quality of the asset I get. 1 to 3 is tier -1. 4 to 5 is tier 6. I can use coin to raise the level of this roll beyond critical by spending 2 coin per tier added. Well, we only have 1 tier, or 0 tiers and 1 coin, so we can't. Oh wait, beyond critical, so we could spend 1 coin to up it to our tier if we have to. So we've got tier 0, so I roll 2 and take the lowest, right?
Right. If you spend the coin, you get to roll 1 die.
Or no, I was thinking I could spend the coin to improve the tier after I roll. It says on page 153, for downtime activities, take 1 die to blah, blah, blah. After the roll, you may spend coin after the roll to improve the result level.
Okay.
Increase the level
go
by
ahead and
1.
do that.
So unless I get 2 4 and ups, we're spending a coin. Well, that's a 1 and a 6. So since I have no dots, we take the lowest. That's 1. We spend our 1 coin that improves it to a 4/5. So we get our tier level of a cart drawn by goats.
Okay, and also you did this via flashback, and since that was acquiring an asset or doing a downtime activity, it's 2 stress.
I am definitely going to have to go hit up the brothel. Like, there's no way around this.
You're feeling it. All right, so you arranged to have somebody meet you pretty close by with a goat-drawn cart so that you can make your acquaintance. This person, we're going to call him Manuel. He is going to become an asset that you guys can use in future jobs.
Yeah, we'll get bonus dice if we try to acquire him again later.
Correct. So you're going to be able to get him out, get the coins out of here. So what go ahead.
I want to do something while we're waiting outside, because we've got this unconscious guy there who has seen a group of people coming up and throw something in his face. But who's going to believe him if I use the spider item, fine bottle of whiskey, to maybe guzzle a couple sips of myself while I'm waiting, but also slosh it all over him so he absolutely reeks of the stuff, so no one's going to believe him. Everyone's going to think he just got drunk and fell asleep and he's making up this story. So I'm just going to slosh some whiskey all over him. And I take another pull.
That's fine.
Don't set him on fire, but
Please.
like
or do.
No, don't set him on fire. Up in his pipe so that it like burns a hole in his coat.
There are rules specifically in this game that if you kill members of gangs as part of jobs, it automatically increases the heat level.
Oh, Jesus.
I got an idea.
Don't set him on fire.
I'm just saying, to Jonas's thing of like just burn him.
No, I have an even better idea. So take not 1 coin, but take like an actual shilling or a tiny bit of the take and put that on him.
No, bullshit, because we need those 4 coins that they're giving us. Like
It's not 4 coins, it's like 1,000 coins. I'm saying
we don't have individual coins. We have fingerling size ingots. We can leave him 1.
you just have ingots?
Yeah, that's
Okay, I thought we had like
no. Dan said
a mixed bag, so to speak.
well, that's really to our GM, isn't it?
It can be divided. The whatever you have can be divided up into individual coin installments. But remember, you can't get any smaller in this game than one coin.
No, we can't.
No.
Okay.
There's no half a coin. Everything's an abstraction. When you pay for things, you pay hard for them.
All right. Well, okay. We'll leave him looking drunk, and
Simon, I'm sorry I cussed at you. That was in character, I promise.
All right.
I marked this stream as a PG-13 plus. All right, so we're not going to belabor this first mission too much. So you guys haul the heavy ass shit out into the alley and like down the block to get it onto the carriage, and you guys disappear into the night. It's slow going. It's a lot of weight. The 5 of you, 4 of you plus the driver, plus the coins for the goats. Mm-hmm. But you do make it back to your hideout, the watchtower, and I'm assuming you probably don't haul that all the way up. You just stash it somewhere on the bottom level there. And you have 12 coins. So I'm assuming
we not.
You're going to keep your 4 and give the other 8 to Boz as agreed.
Yes. Yes, I think that is prudent at this juncture.
No one feels like stiffing him? Okay.
Okay. Look, I'm sleepy. I'm wigged out. Let's just not make any more crap go on.
So, we're going to move into what's called the Downtime Phase, where we start the reset, setting up for the next session. Okay? So, you earn 2 rep. What?
I said no more wine. He's not going to commend us on a job well done or anything?
No, he doesn't meet you again. There's a cold drop at one of his safe houses.
Okay.
So you get 2 rep by default, and you get plus 1 rep per higher tier that the person that you did the score against was. In this case, the Red Sashes are a tier 2 gang. You guys are tier 0. So that gives you 4 rep. Also, let me bring this up real quick.
Did you just make the mouth sound code?
I did. Where is it? There it is. So you get 4 rep, and you guys also additionally gained 1 more turf at the beginning of the game. So, or actually, no, that is the starting turf that's already marked. So when those 2 dot lines meet in the middle, the gang levels up.
Nice.
Okay. You earn coin additionally based on the nature of the operation, but that was included. This was a 4 coin operation. It was worked into the details. So we're going to mark that instead of having 0 coins, you now have 4 coins, which can be divvied up either into the communal vault that's used for things that the gang has to do, or it can be just divided up and go into your personal character sheets or your personal stashes. But only 4 coins can be stored in the active container of the gang at one time. The rest is in the vault. This is the critical thing. Anything that's stored in your personal stash or the vault of the gang, if you want to pull it out, you only get 1 for every 2 that was in there. So once you bank money, it's harder to pull it out because it's banked for your future or for the improvement of the gang. Like long term. Like, think of stuff put into the vault as money that's going towards, like, the operating expenses of expanding the gang. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, do you guys want to put it all towards the gang? Do you guys each want to take 1 coin?
What?
I think we should each take 1 coin, and then what we do with it is up to us. Like, if I say I want to vault it because I want to get the fuck away from my family, that's up to me. What everyone else does with their portion of the take is none of my business.
I think we may want to actually put the first score, like, just keep it as cash on hand in case we have to do something like hire another carriage as a gang. It'd be useful to have gang money on hand, cold hard cash ready to spend if we need it, and then in the next take we can start dipping it out to ourselves because it can't hold anymore.
You can always put your coin in the stash. Or anyone can choose to make that decision.
No, well, yeah. Never
Well,
mind.
we've got two voices. Why don't we put it to a vote? We've got a vote of divvy it up. We got a vote of all for the gang for the first take.
Like, here's a character decision that I'm making. Dimey's going to do whatever Abernathy does. So it's not like even putting it to a vote kind of isn't fair.
Okay, so what do Jonas and Bluefoot want to do?
I'm inclined to want my one coin, personally.
And I'm kind of inclined to. We just got here, and we need to protect ourselves as a group against rivals and aggression.
Okay, so we're gonna put 3 coins in the bin, and Jonas, you're gonna take your 1 coin, and you guys can play that out as you guys see fit in the character interactions, because you're supposed to have internal alliances and issues with each other, because you're a gang of strong personality people. All right, so we got 3 coins on the sheet, and I'm gonna print this out and save this so we have a static copy. So heat, I would say that went pretty good. So you guys have a standard exposure, because you didn't kill that guy, which was probably the best choice. But he is gonna tell people that some group came in, knocked him out, and then took the gold, clean and easy, and knew exactly what they were coming for. So that will generate some heat.
There.
What?
Why wasn't my guy there? That pisses me off.
We'll have to address that
you
later.
Mark that as a note on your character sheet and investigate that later and build some story off of it.
It makes me angry when I have bad intel.
Well, no one has perfect intel. So you guys did the heat. Now here's the really important thing. Right now the heat is not very high. When this track fills up, the wanted level goes up by 1. And that means that when shit really hits the fan, somebody may have to go to jail for a while and like play a different character sheet because their character's in the holding tank, right? And it also means that the blue coats basically become more of a nuisance to your general activities. Right? Okay. So at the end, we also have to do an entanglements. Right now, you have a heat of 0 to 3. So somebody roll a d6 for me.
1.
Okay.
3. It fails either way.
So gang trouble. Well, no, it's not. It was a chart. So your savage gang, while you were doing that, they were expecting they were expecting the big payoff, hearing about the job that you were going to be doing for Boz. So they gambled away and got into a little bit of debt. Now, this is not something you can circumvent. You can't just say, fuck them. You can either forfeit rep equal to your tier plus 1, so in this case 1, or you can make an example of one of the gang members, which gives them an additional negative trait.
But it doesn't kill them, right? Like, we can keep Jesse and James?
Yeah. But making an example of them is basically, like, publicly humiliating them or, like, making them work for that person or taking it out of, like, their next pay, but, like, they get pissed off and get a negative trait because of it. That cohort does.
Let's keep them as a useful as a useful asset to us. I mean, we spent
Okay.
on having a cohort, and if we give them flaws, we're
making it harder to use them.
Yep, and that's fair. So, what we're going to do then is you're going to lose 1 rep, okay?
Sounds good.
We're going to mark experience, and then we're going to be done. We'll do Vice at the start of the next turn, because that in turn can generate side scores and things that may need to get taken care of. So, let's work on the crew EXP first. So, at the end of each session, mark each item below, mark 1 XP. So, you did execute a successful espionage, sabotage, or theft operation. I wouldn't say that you necessarily contended with challenge above your station, because even though you were dealing with stronger gangs, it wasn't a hard job. I would say that you expressed the goals, drives, and inner conflict or essential nature of the crew. You guys are all about stealing shit. Everybody steals, and you got your place in the world by stealing money and adding to your coffers. So we're going to say that's 2 experience for the gang. Now, does anybody have... everybody should have on their sheets, like if we do as an example, let's look at somebody's sheet. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. So if we look at Jonas, you have some things that you mark experience for, right?
Yeah, so I marked for a tuning with the ghost, right?
Yep.
And I think that's the only one I had.
Okay. What about you, Birdie? Do you have anything that met your EXP? And this goes under playbook experience.
Did I roll a desperate action? I don't believe I did.
You did not.
Then no.
And there should be things where it's for each item below. You address the challenge with a blah, blah, blah. Here, let's look at your sheet.
Yeah.
It says every time
you address a challenge with tracking or violence.
I did not.
Yep, you did that. So
Yeah, you used hunt.
So that goes to your playbook.
Oh,
You mark.
Nice.
That's the only one I think you get.
Yeah.
All right, so Abernathy, let's look at you.
I addressed a challenge with calculation or conspiracy. Did I do that?
You also made that finesse check. So you get a with desperate roll, so you get a prowess experience.
So far, I marked 1 for prowess for that. I marked 1 with resolve for being kind of under the spotlight in front of our lamp black guy.
Yep, and as far as your 3 dots below, I don't think you actually hit any of those.
Alrighty then.
So going back, so I used a tune, right?
Yeah.
So just because I used a tune, I get to check that box, correct?
No, you only get the stat experience if you roll and succeed in a desperate position.
Gotcha.
Because you're learning from shit going crazy.
Gotcha. Otherwise, because I did it as part of the challenge, that's why I get the 1.
Right. Your main level up experience is going to be your playbook stuff at end of session. The idea is that if you guys are constantly being pushed into desperate situations, if you make it out of there, you learn a lot from that, right? You learn more and develop more from struggle than everything being a breeze.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm good.
All right. So now let's look at Dolbin.
Yeah. I picked a lock, so I think I'd get an XP for addressing a challenge with technical skill.
I agree. And I also appreciate that you can really do a lot of EXP in this game by engaging the backstory elements of your characters, as listed here. So you're going to get 1 there. So I think you got 1 on your playbook. All right. Now let me go back to the crew sheet real quick so everybody can get a view of it before I finalize it and save it, and then I'll update the so let me go ahead and print that. No, I don't want to physically print it. Alright, and I'll update the imager as well. So we've got that saved. So the crew is a done deal. Our next thing that we're going to do is we're going to, when we come back for the next session, we are going to do downtime activities like acquiring assets. We're going to do vice engagements if people want to do those, and we'll talk about those. And then we'll move on to the first earnest, more complicated score. And thank you very much, everybody who is watching. And we will see you all next time.
Thanks, everyone.
So long.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you, Dan.
all.